Time's up. Let's do this.
Alright, welcome back ladies and gentlemen. Babael here. Joining me today is Katips to bring you the grand finals in the BlizzCon Community Qualifier for Malaysia, and it's going to be between Bear and fizdarth. The good news is now we're going to have a nice little, you can say, vision of Bear's hand. The bad news is that it's going to have to be small. It could be a little bit laggy. You might get disconnected, but then this is some of the daily issues we're going to have to deal with.
Yep, so we are now in grand finals. fizdarth and Bear playing through, I believe it was 8 total rounds of competition to get to this grand finals. Winner, of course, gets their Malaysian seed for the Americas Qualifier, and we have Bear going up against Malaysia's legend player fizdarth, who was in last week's legend tournament as well. And fizdarth is going to be opening up with his tried and true Zoo Warlock that he's been pretty much wrecking this tournament with. How do you feel about the Zoo deck right now?
The Zoo deck, of course, feels very strong, and really it's going to be about what fizdarth can bring here. What kind of variation are we talking about? If it's just the Demon Zoo, then yeah, it's kind of like a little bit of a nice swing of surprise here. I've seen some of the players here play the Demon Zoo, which is kind of effective to a certain extent, and I want to see what kind of a zoo this is about.
So you can see a Dread Infernal right now in his hand. So you might be getting your wish of we're going to be seeing a Demon Zoo just like earlier.
Yep, and that's going to be pretty scary. And we'll see again what really this deck is going to be about in just a short while. But for now, I am a little bit intrigued to see what kind of hand. As you can see, Bear is lagging tremendously there. And I do hope that his connection is going to be fine.
So Bear looks like he's going to be running his token druid that caught him into this grand finals from Chonger earlier. So now fizdarth is not drawing into his early game. He's not drawing in his spiders or his Nerubian egg, but he has his Void Terror in hand. So it's going to be his task now to keep the minion count of Bear low, just so he doesn't get any value out of a finisher like a Savage Roar. So turn 3, how do you feel about Void Walking a Harvest Golem?
Avoid walking a Harvest Golem. Yeah, good defense there, I think. I actually kind of like that a lot. But he doesn't have that. He does have a Void Terror.
Yep. So
you mean Void Terror or Void Walker?
Sorry, Void Terror, that's right. So he's going to get a 5/6 and a 2/1 from his 2/3.
Which is good, which is good. Yeah, I like that a lot. Unfortunately, that means that the Harvest Golem is gonna Harvest damage Golem bot, damage bot there is probably just gonna die very easily. Yep. And that's just the sad news there that everyone's gonna deal with once in a while.
That's right. So he's going to tap, and he's going to be fortunately drawing into a Void Walker this time correctly. He's going to pop the bubble of his Argent Squire, and here comes the Void Walker, just to put up some sort of defense for Bear to get through. So Bear's hand, little laggy.
Oh yeah, huge amount of lag there.
Yeah. So what do we see in his hand right now? Is there
there is the Ancient of Lore, there is the Zoo Drake, there's also the Innovate and another Ancient of Lore. So the Druid effectively doesn't really have a good play. Next turn he can Innovate Ancient of Lore, but that's just as desperate as it gets here. There is some substantial good board presence by Bear, but can it bring him far? That's the real question.
Yep, and we have to keep in mind that fizdarth has Hellfire in hand. So if he pops all the bubbles and Bear overcommits with his minions, that's going to be super value Hellfire. And going into the later turns, he has the beefier minions with the Dread Infernal, with the Dark Iron Dwarf. So could potentially be good for fizdarth if Bear overcommits in the next few turns.
Yeah, for sure. So here we are now looking at Girlfriends knocking off the Harvest Golem, and the 2/1 will still be there. So here comes the Void Walker.
Yep. So Void Walker, Void Terror.
He doesn't have Mortal Coil. If not, he could probably make an effective trade here with the Harvest Golem.
Yeah, that's right. So he could maybe tap and then put down Void Walker just to put up some defense and stop these tokens in the meantime. I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, I would definitely tap first because he doesn't really have a good answer, and even if he does provide some form of a buff, it's really not going to do anything. So he kills it off and he taps into Hearthstone. Meanwhile, Hellfire comes out, and that's going to clear the board.
I'm not so sure Hellfire right now. I think he should just Void Walker. That's gonna 2-for-1 anyway. Or is he gonna play Raw Void Terror?
Yeah, Void Terror is a 3 for 3, and with extra 3 health. It's not really effective, but not much value there, but at least it's still quite respectable.
Yep, and he does have the option to Defender of Argus next turn, so that might still survive to deal much more havoc down the line. And of course, fizdarth is smartly saving his Hellfire just to make sure that
Innovate Ancient of Lore, here we go.
There we go. So we'll find out in a few minutes what Bear just drew. So
Haunted Creeper, and something else that remotely looks like a pretty disgusting Argent Squire.
okay, so I think
No,
Is
it's
he
not.
gonna-
It's Force of Nature and Lower Thab. Wow,
okay.
that's a huge
So 4/4
difference.
body on the board for fizdarth right now. Bear's gonna be forced to react to this. 4/4 is a pretty tough body. You generally don't want to leave 4/4 on the board for very long. That's why Yeti's so good. 4/5
Oh my god, look at that lag. Da, 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 da. Oh god. Okay, so he gets Big Game Hunter. No game for the big game so far.
Unless there's a Dread Infernal into Defender of Argus play, but that's not very likely.
Yeah, it's not gonna be happening. So Azure Drake here, and that's gonna draw 1 card. He can also play the Haunted Creeper, but he's not gonna do that because he doesn't have enough mana for that. And the Void Caller, yay! Void Caller is gonna bring out the Dread Infernal, which is what I like about it. He can play Void Caller and Knife Jack first, of course, and that's gonna provide 1 extra damage here. Of course, you're gonna want to kill the Azure Drake before you make any of those play.
Yep, I completely agree.
Unless you want to play the Soulfire, which would also be pretty exciting.
But then if Soulfire gets the Infernal, that's what a waste. I like your play. Run the 4/4 into the Azure Drake, and then drop Knife Juggler into Void Caller, which is gonna give him the nice Dread Infernal for the next turn, assuming Bear deals with the Void Caller. So I was thinking about it. I think it's the best play. He can
Yeah,
play a Raw.
I think it's a pretty good play, but he might just want to go for the Defender Argus just to make sure he trades effectively. Okay, here we go, Soulfire. And here comes the Hadouken.
Oh.
Is it gonna happen? The Kamehameha? No? No?
No?
No charge up? Okay, he's still gonna do it. Okay, so we see. Discard a Hellfire, please. Oh, it throws away the Void Caller. What a huge waste. Oh well. Happens.
Yep, so pretty dominating board control right now for fizdarth. He's got, Knife Juggler is going to be, especially against a token deck. And fizdarth having Hellfire in hand is going to come in very handy against a deck like this. So this was a pretty smart pick, I feel, for fizdarth, taking this deck against the token druid.
Yeah, pretty good stuff. So this demon variation of the Zoo deck, you can see, is visibly a lot slower, but it is consolidated. What I mean by that is that you have a pretty good board, you have some pressure there, and really the druid doesn't really have good answers. He doesn't have swipe. Even if he has got swipe, he gotta kill all 3 minutes at the same time.
Yep. So druid not having very many effective single target removals. I mean, he has silence in Keeper of the Grove and he has swipe, but generally removal is not the forte of druid. It's more of putting up his own defenses, putting up bigger threats than his opponents, and getting a lot of value out of stuff like Innervate. So yeah, this type of demon deck is really strong. It's very annoying for druid in the right context, in the right
Oh,
draws
rope
for
comes
this
out
deck.
here.
And Bear is now at the end of his rope. Has to think about what he's gonna play next.
Big Game Hunter, no game there. And is he gonna just Hero Power and pass? Nope, he's gonna play Haunted Creeper and Hero Power and pass. No, Blood Mage Talnos. Wow, Talnos is gonna get burned alive. Crazy. Okay, this is gonna be an insane turn for fizdarth. He's just gonna play the Infernal. And he is gonna kill everything there, Mortal Coil the big game, and still stay alive. Hopefully the Knife Jack don't throw the knife deck away.
Wow.
Oh, why do you want to do that? Now he doesn't
Knife-
have extra card. Bad knife,
Knife
bad juggler.
on point.
You bad boy. Why? Why'd you want to do stuff like that? Times like this, you wish you could Mortal Coil instead.
I think that's not. I mean, if Bear plays another 1/1, that's fine. You get to keep a card. He can always tap. He still has the health for it. 14 health now left for Bear, and he is staring down 11, 12, 13, 17 damage from fizdarth and +3 from the Hellfire. So not looking good for Bear at the moment.
Dropping rocks from sky.
Dropping rocks from sky. That's absolutely right.
That's infernal for you guys, and that's gonna be a total of 11 plus 6, 17 damage in one turn. It's enough. It is just enough to win this game here for fizdarth. And Bear, man, that's the same token druid deck that allowed him to go through the semifinals. Here comes the FON. Out of desperation, that's gonna trade effectively with the Dark Iron Dwarf as well as the very irritating Knife Jug. And we're also gonna say 1 damage point onto the Defender Argus. That also means Bear is down to 13 health without a minion on the board. Abusive Sergeant Hellfire, is that gonna be enough? That's only gonna be 8 plus 3. And a Void Caller as well. No one cares because there's no demon in the hand here for fizdarth. He's just gonna play it anyway.
That's right.
Haha.
So 5 damage left with Hellfire in hand. So all he needs is for his Abusive Sergeant to survive or one of his other minions to survive, and it's pretty much game.
Oh, he needs the life tap, or rather just draw out the Soul Fire and its game. So here we are now looking at Bear's hand, which is just struggling to get past the previous turn. And the connection is very slow, but you can see clearly it's Innovate, Power of the Wild, and Wrath just appeared out of nowhere. I like that. Unfortunately, it's not gonna save his game here. He can heal up, don't get me wrong, he can heal up with the Ancient of Lore, but if he does that,
that's not gonna be enough.
It's still not gonna. Hellfire is gonna deal sufficient damage, and effectively,
and that is it. That is lethal for fizdarth.
Is he gonna innovate out something good? That's the question. Oh, okay, Hero Power.
That's still 11 though.
That's still not enough. I'm sorry, sir. It's just power overwhelming.
Oh, wow.
Remember, nobody cares, right? So let's judge the BM here from fizdarth. He plays power overwhelming. He runs the 6 in. Man, I would say probably. He didn't play Hellfire first, so that's probably just 2 upon 10.
Yep, so Bear getting overwhelmed by this Demon Zoo from fizdarth. Fizdarth has been doing great with this Demon Zoo this entire tournament. We've seen him in a couple of games, and he was using the same decks. Pretty good, pretty good. I think his chances of sticking to Zoo are strong. So that leaves Bear with Rogue and with Warlock.
Yeah.
So Zoo Mirror is a little bit messy, but I think might be a chance for Bear.
I'm currently looking at a rogue list here for Bear, and it seems like this rogue will be a little bit more different and a little bit more exciting for all of us to watch. We'll see.
Yep.
So we'll see. So some rage typing from Katips, and meanwhile back to this game here, and it's a little bit lag on Bear's side, but I think it's still okay. fizdarth will get Nerubian Egg, might still be the Demon Zudak. We'll see. Flame Imp, yeah, Flame Imp. No one really runs Flame Imp these days, so it could still be Demon. We'll see. But Nerubian Egg definitely a must-have.
Yep. So that's a nice curve for fizdarth. He's gonna turn 2 Nerubian Egg, turn 3 Harvest Golem, or Voidwalker.
He's definitely gonna Voidwalker here. He is not gonna risk the Flame Imp for the extra damage on the Lepanum. It's not possible. He's gonna deal 3 damage, which is good. And we do see in the hand of Bear Backstab, which is effectively, I thought he should just Backstab in the previous turn, but he didn't do that.
Yep. Okay, so here comes the Backstab for the Flame Imp. Okay, so he's probably gonna save his Leper Gnome now. Loot Hoarder coming into play, and now fizdarth. Okay, I think he can play his Harvest Golem. Yeah, I like that one. And I'm a big fan of killing Leper Gnome as early as possible, because if you leave it alone for a turn, that's 6 damage, 8 damage, it all adds up. So generally want to take him out as soon as possible, just for him to be able to do 2 damage. Yeah, so I like that play from fizdarth.
Alright, so back to Bear. Bear with Shadow Step, Loot Hoarder. This is clearly not a Miracle Rogue list. This is definitely something that looks like a Tempo Rogue. A little bit of a slight variation there. With South Deckhand, I might just want to coin out that one there. We'll see. Okay, might play the Fairy Dragon instead. Nope, it's another Loot Hoarder. He's just gonna dig deeper into the deck, which is pretty okay.
So it looks like it's a backspace rogue, as made famous by the player backspace, and it's a nice, very fast tempo rogue with a lot of nice removals, and it's good against aggro decks because of the number of removals that rogue has, and its sweepers even with Blade Flurry and stuff like that. It's very good against aggro decks, so it has a chance against Zoo if you draw into the right removals at the right time. But if Zoo, as always, can snowball at the drop of a hat. So let's see.
Yeah, right now what fizdarth needs is to draw into a demon. And then he's gonna play his Void Caller. So this is still the demon variation of Zoo, the one that I really like. Nerubian Egg here unfortunately isn't really gonna do anything. South Deckhand's gonna come out and that's gonna provide some form of tempo. And Barry's just going all face here. He is not holding any bars against fizdarth. And here comes another Nerubian Egg. That's pretty devastating here for fizdarth because he's not able to find any form of traction against this tempo rogue.
I think he should drop Lotheb and start clearing out the bigger minions, maybe the South Sea Deckhand and the Fairy Dragon. And it's also going to prevent Bear from playing stuff like Eviscerate. So yeah,
I think this is a good turn to do that because Lotheb, it's turn 5. Your opponent has got 2 cards in hand, probably gonna be spells. If not, he would have played, something else as compared to the Fairy Dragon. You cannot really trade effectively, but it's more or less taking out 2 minions, and really you might want to consider taking out the 2/3. He might just want to go for value trade here, which means that the 4/4 is gonna take out the 3/2, and the 2/3 is gonna kill the 2/1. Yep, and he's just gonna do that. Play Lotheb and pass.
Yep, so Lotheb, as we said earlier, is a good choice to play right now, just to block out any sort of removals from the hand of Bear, and prevent him from making any value trades. Well, of course, with the two Loot Hoarders in play, that's still gonna give him some cards. He's gonna choose to clear out the Dark Iron Dwarf, very rightfully so, to draw into a card. Let's see, he might be thinking about using it in the Harvest Golem as well.
Eviscerate for 7. You gotta be kidding me. Not gonna happen, sir.
So good play, good prediction by fizdarth, as we mentioned. Pretty good to get this tempo right now. So I think I'm liking a Void Caller into Nerubian Egg at the moment.
Okay, this is why I went OO, because this is a Mukla deck. And I've seen Mukla in the naming convention, that's why. But I didn't give it away, so that's good. So now the Harvest Golem's gonna kill the 2/1 to draw extra card there for the Rogue. But I would like him to play the Nerubian Egg this turn.
Yeah,
I find it pretty exciting. Just gonna go Dark Iron Dwarf in the lower Thab. That's gonna deal 7, and he's gonna catch up in terms of damage. That's still pretty fine.
Yep.
Eggy
so here comes
out.
the second. Here comes one of the 2 eggs. Let's see what Bear has in store. Coming up now.
Leroy Jenkins, Mukla, Sap, as well as Shadow Step. He does have the ability to deal 12 damage with Deadly Poison. That's gonna be 15, but he doesn't have enough mana to run everything in 1 turn. Wow, so close. Barry's so close to taking this game. Unfortunately, I think he just lost it.
Too many fat minions on the board for fizdarth. Very hard for him to remove.
Just to let you know, he has got Leroy Jenkins as well as a Shadow Stab, so he still has the ability to take away this game. He also has got Eviscerate, so Eviscerate now will go for 2. He is gonna deal 3 damage. He's probably just gonna sap away Lower Thab just to prevent further damage. Really? Yeah. But if he plays Lower Thab next turn, you're done.
Yeah, that's right. Sapping Lotheb is not probably the best idea. It's just gonna block you out of another turn with so many spells on the side of Rogue.
Okay, he's gonna chop down the 4/4. I like that.
Okay. So that leaves a 2/1 and the 5/5.
He's gonna sap the egg just so he can, and he's not gonna do anything else. Alright, if there is a taunt, there is a chance. Nope, it's Argent Commander. So that's 4, 5, 9, 10, 11. 11 damage. It's not gonna be enough. He's gonna have to tap here. There is Leroy and Shadow Step, so pretty disgusting, but Bear's gonna have this game. Unless he taps into something different.
Yep.
Okay, nope, he doesn't tap here. Alright, so that's it. Game's gonna go to Bear, and we have a 1-1. One apiece.
Yep, so 2 games left for each player to take this tournament and to win their Malaysia qualifier seed for the BlizzCon Americas tournament.
Yeah, he even gets Cold Blood, so...
So, very good. As we can see, Backspace Rogue and this type of Tempo Rogue really good against aggro decks or decks with a lot of minions because of Rogue's efficient removals. So we saw right there, despite having a lot of those removals and spells, there is still a big chance for finish with Shadow Step. So that was pretty good.
Yep. Alright, so Druid here against Rogue. Now it's either, you know, the Rogue's still gonna be the same Rogue or it's gonna change. So that's the real question here.
Yep, so changing into Miracle gives him a lot of good options. Miracle's good against a lot of decks, except the like taunt heavy ramp decks. So Tempo Rogue is still pretty good. If he's expecting, I'm hoping both of them scope each other's classes out. He should know that Bear is running Druid, Shaman, Warlock, and he just beat the Warlock. So let's see if he's gonna stick with Tempo Rogue or if he's gonna change up into Miracle. Might have a better chance.
Yep, exactly. So here we have okay, it's gonna be Druid up against the Rogue. One apiece.
Yep, so it's gonna be it looks like a ramp druid with Chillwind Yeti. He's thinking about keeping it.
Uh-huh.
Wrath definitely good. He's gonna keep one just to be able to stop something like a South Sea deck.
Oh, he gets Innovate. There we go.
Turn one Yeti.
Yeah.
Is he gonna do it?
I think he is gonna do it. It's probably gonna get Sap though, if the Rook can find Sap. We'll see. No reason not to do it.
Is he gonna do it though? So thinking he can also Wrath, coin into Wrath to take out the.
Oh, but
Leopard
he sees the Lepinome and he thinks this is the backspace, which is why he probably is just considering that there might be a Sap. And that's why he might not do it.
Yep. So he can, of course, coin into Wrath and get rid of the Leopard Gnome. Still a valid play. He can even coin into Hero Power if he wants to save his Wrath.
Now he's just gonna pull on a Yeti. There we go.
Turn one Yeti. Fantastic. I love that. It's so good for you and it's so bad for your opponent. Oh man. Always a pleasure to play a turn one Yeti.
Do we see a Sap top deck? That's the question. No, it's a Lepinome top deck. Pretty useless.
So Bear's probably gonna run that Loot Hoarder into the nice Wild Growth.
Yeah, but he's just gonna play the Rough.
Okay,
And probably
takes
gonna
damage.
opt for bot clear. No, actually gonna deal 4 damage. Okay.
Yep, so 4 or 5 in play. I think you generally leave him alone until your opponent figures out a way to stop him. So turn 3 for fizdarth is probably going to be either a Harvest Golem or Wild Growth. I'm leaning more towards Wild Growth just to keep the tempo up.
Yeah. He might
is-
Hero Power though.
Okay,
Nope,
that's a great...
okay.
Now that he drew into Swipe, I think it's safe that he's not going to play Wild Growth first and get some minions on the board. Try and get Bear to overcommit. And get a big value swipe out of that.
Yeah. I think that's good.
Yeah. So Harvest Golem is probably going to be able to deal with Fairy Dragon quite easily. And okay, so fizdarth now down to 16. Oh boy, he's getting a lot of bad ramp cards at the wrong time. I think he should. He's gonna take out. Okay, so he's gonna swipe, clear the board, and stay with his 4/5 Yeti. Perfectly healthy. Gonna drop Bear down to 14.
Yeah, good stuff. He's still ahead here. There is Leroy and double Arcane Golem there for Bear. And that's only gonna deal like 8 plus 6, 14 damage. Malfurion has 16 health and effectively can always armor up. So I don't see this game going to its Bear anytime soon.
That's right. So turn 1 Yeti, devastating in any context unless your opponent has a removal. So turn 1 Yeti is still undamaged. We are now going into turn 5. That thing's been alive for 5 turns. That's a lot of value from a single minion you played on turn 1.
Yep. Alright, so there is the Mukla as well as the Coalite Oracle. A Coalite Seer, sorry, for Bear. Oh, sorry, it's Oracle. Yeah, alright. I was right. So it's Coalite Oracle. He's not going to play that. He's just going to play the Arcane Golem. The Arcane Golem is going to get killed by the damage bot, and we're going to see a Loathab play this turn. And it's 11 health. Pretty scary. Actually, 6. Let me just see that. 6 damage. Is it going to be enough to pick off the Druid? No, it's not. Okay, he's just going to play Loathab.
Yep, so Lothab's now in play. It's going to stop Bear from casting any of his spells. It's going to be costing way too much at turn 6. So 9 damage on the board right now from fizdarth, 10 including his hero power. So he has, unless Boar is able to put down some sort of defense, that's lethal for fizdarth next turn.
Yeah, I think it's over. There is no taunt for Bear. He can play Deadly Poison for 6. He can draw cards with the Coalite Oracle, and that's gonna be 3 mana cost for that. He can play Leroy to kill Loathab, just to deny the lethal. There we go. And we'll deal damage by damage here. 4, 5, 6. 6 damage.
Yep. So 6 damage. Probably gonna want to draw with Assure Drake and then tap for hero power.
Oh, he gets Argent Commander.
Right.
That's fantastic. That's gonna be game for fizdarth. Bear on the flip side just gonna take a total of 7 damage this turn and will be threatened again with lethal next turn. Bear does have the Daily Poison, but he doesn't have the health to run into anything except for those whelps.
That's right. So pretty dominating board on the side of fizdarth. That's a 4/4 and a 4/5 and a 4/2 coming in with Divine Shield in the form of Argent Commander.
Oh, he can deal 9 damage in his turn for Bear.
Okay.
Yeah, he can play Arcane Golem, Deadly Poison, South-Sea Deckhand. And that's just so close.
So close. 1 turn away, and Loatheb last turn probably... I mean, the other turn was probably a bit too much for him to recover. These are some pretty tough minions on the board. And lethal next turn, of course, with Argent Commander.
Yeah, he should have... Oh, God. He played Leroy, therefore he couldn't play the Deadly Poison. It was only turn 6 last turn. He's gonna draw cards with Coalite Oracle. Calls the Well Played. Will probably concede here. I can't even see the cards that he draw. Oh, SI Agent, Deadly Poison. So now with 2 Deadly Poison, it's gonna deal 5 damage. 5 damage plus 2 damage there from the South Sea Deckhand at the cost of 3 mana. He's gonna have 1 spare. It's not gonna be enough. He's just gonna call concede.
Yep. So turn 1 Yeti, showing why it's so good. It's just so hard to remove in the early game, and if it makes it to the mid game, to the end game, and you leave it alive for 7 turns, that's generally not gonna be good for you.
Alright,
so Fizz, yeah. Go ahead,
Fizz up by 1 game, am I right?
Yes, so it's 2-1 in favor of fizdarth.
So match point for fizdarth here.
That's right. So it might be. So let's see if he sticks with his ramp deck. Even, I mean, that's pretty good for him last game. Even if he drew into those wild growths at the wrong time, he still managed to clutch it out. So let's see on this last deck of Bear if this is enough. So we get Innervate, Swipe, and Wild Growth in the first turn. I have a feeling he's going to keep the whole set.
Yeah, no reason not to keep the whole set. This set's pretty good. Looks pretty awesome.
Unless he's predicting that it's hand lock on the side of bear. Oh, that hand is so much worse.
Okay. He decides to change up the whole lineup there. And he gets Wall of Grove, Argent Commander, Drift of Claw, and Rough. But for Bear, this is a headlock. So it's a good guess. But a headlock there will have Mountain Giant and Molten Giant and Faceless, as well as a Power Overwhelming.
Yep, so fizdarth probably onto the fact that a turn 2 tap means it's hand lock, so he's going to have to start preparing for that now. I'm just going to hero power first and go for face.
Yeah, okay, there is definitely going to be a very early Mountain Giant coming up from Bear. fizdarth on the flip side needs, he can definitely rough down this 3-3. But okay, and as well as play Harvest Golem, but there is not much value in that play there. Not like he really has a choice.
Yep. So Harvest Golem into Wrath, I agree. I think is the best play. Or is he thinking about going into
Charging?
taunt?
Yeah, he can taunt as well. Just that taunting this up probably means that there might be a Soulfire. But doesn't matter because next turn we're gonna see a Mountain Giant. And this is where the nightmare begins.
That's exactly right. This is where the nightmare begins. This is every player playing against handlock does not want to see an early Mountain Giant just cascading all the way into more Giants, into more Twilight Drakes, and not having enough removal to take care of all of them.
Okay, he does lose the Faceless Manipulator.
Yep.
So it's not that bad for fizdarth. He's gonna deal 4 damage with the Argent Commander. The 8-4 is gonna deal 8 damage onto fizdarth, but because Bear just discarded his Faceless Manipulator, he's not gonna have that. He's gonna coin out Sunwalker, and Sunwalker is just gonna be so goddamn irritating. Soulfire again, just to kill the 4-2. Does he lose his Power Overwhelming? Yes, it does. And the 8 damage is gonna start sinking in right now.
Yep, so no effective removals right now from the side of fizdarth. This is a little bit tricky. Is he gonna want to spend? He doesn't. Okay, so he can spend Force of his Innervate to Force of Nature and Wrath.
Just to kill a Sunwalker.
Just to kill a Sunwalker. That's gonna suck though.
Okay, that's gonna suck. It really is, but he doesn't have a choice. It's gonna rough us. See what card he gets. He gets Swipe. That's gonna kill the Giant. So bingo, does dingo. Here we go. Bye bye, Giant.
Okay, there goes the first Giant, and 3 cards left in the hand of Bear. And fizdarth now is gonna innervate
Harvest
into
Golem.
Harvest Golem.
Pretty good play.
Pretty
Pretty good play. Okay, there is the Force of Nature for fizdarth. He can definitely trade up with the Sunwalker next turn, so I'm not too concerned about that one there. And for Bear, Bear does have Mortal Coil and the Twilight Drake, so Twilight Drake's not gonna do much here. It's gonna just trade up with the Bear, with the Harvest Golem, and effectively just Mortal Coil for extra card draw. I like that.
Yep, pretty good play.
And Twilight Drake. Okay, here it could be a Force of Nature to clear. It could also be a Argent Commander. I personally like Force of Nature because that would mean a complete board wipe. However, Argent Commander is going to provide at least 1 minion on the board, and the minion is pretty important because it doesn't necessarily give away board control to your opponent. So he's still going to go for Force of Nature and be left with nothing on the board. And there we go, back to basics.
Yep. So 3 cards apiece, and Bear's going to draw into 1. Probably going to tap. Well, he still has a lot of health to be able to tap. And now he has to think about. I mean, he can still play a Mountain Giant from this point. Of course, tapping first, good idea. And he's just going to pass. No play. So I think pretty obvious play right now is Argent Commander into Hero Power for 5 damage, and dropping Bear down to 21. So let's see. So that's gonna put Bear in range of more Giants, I think. Does Bear have Molten Giants in his hand?
Bear, yeah, he does have one Molten Giant there.
Okay. Ooh, okay. So he draws into Savage Roar now. Innervates Wild Growths to get the extra card draw. And Azure Drake, very nice. I think I want to play that. Yeah, definitely. Draws into Loatheb. Ooh, Innervate into Loatheb would be fantastic. That's just going to stop all the options of Bear.
Yeah.
He can't Siphon Soul. He can't... is he really going to play a 5-cost Soulfire?
Yes, this is it. This is game. We're now looking at a total of 13 damage on the board before Savage Roar, so that's a lot. And nothing the Bear could do to clear. There is no Siphon Soul, completely denied. There is also a very expensive Mortal Coil, but he gets his own Loatheb, so he might play that. But even then, we know it's game.
Yep, so fizdarth looks like is gonna 3-1 Bear. No defense on the side of Bear. That's a lot of threats on the side of fizdarth. And Bear staring down the barrel. Is this gonna be the end of the line for him? It looks to be the case. That Loatheb was a critical play. That Innervate into Loatheb just won him this game.
Yeah. Oh, but look at that. There is still lots of taunts here. Silence and Savage Roar.
Yeah.
No one cares. And
Savage
Granddad
Roar.
Molten Giant next time maybe. Better luck. There is on the board a total of 13 damage. I give this BM 9 upon 10 because he plays Savage Roar to kill him. So perfect. I would give it a little bit better. Okay, maybe not 9 upon 10, maybe just 7. He could have killed another minion. So he decides to tap out to the brackets before we could change the screen. And yeah, alright, so ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the Malaysia BlizzCon Qualifier is fizdarth, and that's one worthy winner. Trust me, he has been in the Legends Tournament, he has been one of the best players in Malaysia, and right now I believe he is definitely elated to be moving forward into the main Americas the main Americas regional qualifier, where if he qualifies for that, if he's top 4, he will go directly into BlizzCon. So if that's
Ooh,
it, Katips,
exciting.
Any words to sign this off with?
Well, we've been watching fizdarth since the start. As you mentioned, he was in the tournament last week and made an excellent showing this week with his version of a demon deck, the Babael special. So pretty good for fizdarth. Congratulations, very well deserved. He played very consistently. He played very strong, and congratulations to him. He is going to the next qualifier, one step away from a free trip from Blizzard to come to BlizzCon.
I think we have very good games today, and also the fact that we are looking at pretty good games next week as well for the Philippines qualifier. All the VOD is gonna be up on YouTube, so don't worry if you miss an action here on the live stream. We will have every single thing updated on YouTube, and we will be very excited to bring you that by the end of the day. So hope you guys enjoyed this cast and stream. Definitely, I know there's been a lot of issues with the Twitch server today, and yeah, it's kind of identified with Twitch server because nothing else is lagging on my side. Everything else seems pretty smooth. Even TV was smooth, which is unacceptable.
That's right.
Which never happens. But yeah, I guess it's the Singapore Twitch server. We're streaming directly to that. We will try and stream through to the America, Twitch server next week, and hopefully it will be fine. So that's it. This is Babael. Joining me today is Katips, and we'll be back again next week with the Philippines qualifier. And to all Singaporeans out there, happy National Day.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good evening.
Yep. Katips, any shout out?
Well, shout out to everybody. As I said earlier, thanks for everybody who came down to play and came down to watch. And yeah, you guys have a good evening and you have a good weekend, and happy National Day to Singapore. Congratulations to fizdarth, well deserved. And yeah, thank you for having me, Babael. Always a pleasure.
All right, thank you. Thanks for joining me in the cast today, Katips. Well done, and of course, my pleasure to have you here. To all the viewers out there, thank you for tuning in. All the players for participating, thank you so much. And we hope you guys had a good time. It's our pleasure to bring you this coverage as well as to organize this BlizzCon Community Qualifier. Huge shout out to HearthstoneSEA for doing a fantastic job in Southeast Asia, organizing a lot of different tournaments now, as well as the Community Qualifier. It's their effort to bring us this special ticket to BlizzCon. With that said, hope you guys enjoy everything else, and do stay tuned to EGTV next week as well. And we're gonna have a pretty good announcement next week moving forward, because we just set up I just set up my new room here, which effectively is gonna be a studio. So I do hope that this server issue is going to go away after some time. Hopefully it will provide some smooth games for us to watch. And that said, EGTV is still going to continue to grow, and we're going to bring you more esports coverage as we go along the way. So that said, have a great weekend, guys, and see you guys again next week for the Philippines BlizzCon Community Qualifier. This is Babael, with me is Katips, signing off.